And I'm so grateful today that we could come together and remember him, celebrate him. I'm going to start off today with, we're going to go backwards in time. And today we have Bindi. Bindi is going to start us off.
Hi. First, I want to thank you all for being here. I wish I could be there with you in person, but I will come at a later date with his ashes. To know how blessed and how loved he was by everyone in so many places in the world brings me peace. The last time I saw him was in February. I went to visit him in Guatemala, and he was doing rather well. He was really happy there. He liked the simple life, and he had a really beautiful community there. He was able to just do what he loved, and he really came alive again when he arrived there. He was able to not only play his music, but to once again be creative and build his beautiful instruments there. And it was really wonderful to connect with him again after a number of years apart. He really appreciated having me there. That was the one thing that he really missed, was having his family there with him. And I had planned to go and see him again soon. And I know many of you want to know how he passed, but I'm not quite ready to talk about that. It was an accident, and it was really heartbreaking and shocking. So at a later time, I will share that with you. But for the moment, I think it's most important is just to share our love and support each other, and to remember the wonderful parts about him. He was a wonderful father. He was really there for me in a lot of ways. He took me on so many adventures from a very young age, and we continued those while we walked the paths in Guatemala and would sit on his favorite dock and watch sunset every evening. And I think that it's important just to remember those good parts that he offered. He was very compassionate. He was very loving and kind and open-hearted and open-minded. And he was an amazing artist. And I'll never forget him, ever. He was so truly there for me in so many ways. I love you, Dad, and I really, really miss you. And I know that you would just consider this another adventure and another step on another path. And I hope you're having a wonderful adventure, and I'll see you on that path one day. I love you, Papa. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bindi, for sharing with us. Such a beautiful feeling. We're all here receiving this love that you have for Jitendra, and we share that love with you.
Thank you.
Sangeeta, would you come up and share with us? Thank you.
Hi guys, thank you all for coming and being here in remembrance of my dad. I truly feel like I have a lot to say, and I have a lot that I would like to say to him and that we would say to each other. And a lot of that I am going to keep kind of private. But he was the best dad ever. And he took a step away from his traveling me with the best childhood that anyone could have asked for. And he was the best dad. He made me feel like he was like my dad. Me and him, we would have like the most craziest adventures, just me and him when I was super young. Like whenever spring break or anything like that, I'd hang out with him in his workshop for like days, hours and hours and hours, until it was like sundown, super dark, and my mom would have to blow a conch shell to have us come up, and I would ride on top of his truck down like our crazy 4-wheel drive road. And I have just the best memories of spending my life with him, basically. And it's unfortunate that I won't be able to share more with him, but in a way I know that I will and I can, and that he is here for me. I really don't feel like he's gone at all. I just feel like she said, it's just another adventure, another way into life. And he's always talked about death in such a positive way. And I feel like it's not the end, you know. He's always going to be there with me and with all of us too. And he lived just the most craziest life ever. And I'm so blessed to like call that man my father. Just the coolest person. I couldn't think of anyone else that I'd rather have my father. And I know that that's just like something people say, but I truly don't think that there's anyone else who I'd rather have as my dad. And yeah, that's all I'm going to share for now. But this is Nandi, and this is basically my sister. Her dad and my dad were best of friends, and her dad passed away. And I know that my dad was there for like Dan, and he kind of helped take over for his memorial. So I think she can say things in a better way than I can ever say them. So I'm going to leave it up to her for now. So thank you guys.
Hi guys. I'm all choked up from everyone's speeches. They're so beautiful. I have a little speech that I wrote. I'm just gonna keep it within the speech and not try to elaborate too much, but to our dearest dads, I'd like to say that Jitendra was like a father to me, as him and my father were dear friends. And Gita and I grew up together, watching them work in the shop, making instruments and playing music together. I never got the opportunity to speak at my dad's memorial, but with being so young and the turmoil of that loss, I feel like today I get a second chance to honor not only Jitendra, but Dhananjaya as well, as they loved each other so dearly. Sorry, I lost my place. As they loved each other so dearly and spoke so highly of one another. I will never forget the way that Jitendra took the reins at my father's memorial, with all of us being in such a state of loss and bewilderment. The way he spoke about my dad touched my heart so deeply and made me realize at such a young age what a wonderful friendship they had. My dad spoke of him in such high regard. When Jitendra spoke at my father's memorial, he was explaining how he taught Dan how to make the instruments he had learned and studied how to make in his time in India. My father was a master woodworker as well as fast learner. Jitendra said, after years of working together and teaching, the apprentice had become the master. What a humble and beautiful thing to say. Jitendra had such a way with his words, so articulate and intelligent, but capturing your attention to the fullest. Some of my favorite memories with Jitendra are from when me and Gita were little. I would sleep over at their house all the time, and me and Gita would extend our play dates for days on end. Many mornings, Jitendra would wake me and Gita up before the sun had even risen. We'd load up their dogs and he would take us down to Paia, and we'd go to Anthony's first so he could get his morning coffee and breakfast for us. He had a special spot at Baldwin Beach, which was about halfway of a walk to Baby Beach. He'd smoke his tobacco pipe and drink his coffee while me and Gita would make sandcastles, find crabs, and play whatever games our imaginations could come up with. What simpler times we had. Life goes on and we must conquer it. Everything always gets better, and having the love and support of one another is the most important thing. Cherish every day to the fullest and remember our time here is shorter than we realize until we get there. When I think of my dad now, dancing in the sky, showering his blessings on me and my loved ones in this lifetime, I will now see Jitendra dancing with him as well. Both of them smiling as happy as can be, playing their instruments and singing kirtans for Krishna. Well, thank you. I'm sorry.
Hi all. Some of you might not recognize me because we've had a little transformation, but I'm Vala, Jitendra's middle stepdaughter. And I wrote some things that I'm just going to start to read. Yeah, how's that? Okay. Similar to Nandi, this is called Dads. I have a dad. I had a dad. One dad in his physical form, one dad not. One dad raised me, one dad not. One dad stands by me in spirit, reminding me that I had a dad, even when I did not. I had a dad, a lifetime of memories together. I don't remember when I started calling him dad. I was his daughter. I got Sunday morning strolls on Baldwin Beach, Shivaratri under a full moon. I got to listen to my dad sing bhajans, hundreds of people gathering around a sacred fire to chant. The first opening strum of his sitara is a comforting and familiar sound. I would watch his long fingers masterfully move over the strings. His pick, that was a permanent part of his hand, had stories to tell, and so did Dad. I got to fall asleep to the sound of his melodic voice chanting the names of gods and goddesses. I had a dad who said things like, "Well done, Levy. Look at all my beautiful girls. It's okay, I won't tell Mom. Good for you. I love you, my daughter. May peace and joy be with you. Come on, let's go to the beach. I love your mom very much. Your sister is the best. Be well within yourself, dear one. I miss you, my daughter. I'm so happy you found a good partner, sweetheart. I was worried for you. One has to go through the dark to find the light once more. I rejoice that you are well, dear one. I love you and take care of yourself. I've always said that my little sister Sangeeta is the greatest thing that my mom and dad ever gave me. Well, that is true. In his passing, I know that loving me as his daughter was also a great gift that he gave to me. He is the man who raised me from when I was 3 years old till today and beyond. I know that his love, his wisdom, his humor, his stern sensibilities, his tenacity and peace live within me. And I'm so immensely grateful to have had him as a father. The adventurous, nomadic, spiritual lifestyle that I got to live in my youth shaped who I am today. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I remember being very young and walking behind him on our way to McKenna Beach. I would walk behind him and stretch my small legs into the footsteps that he left in the sand. And I wondered if by doing so, I was performing some sort of magical ceremony that would make me walk the same life path that he had. I knew that Dad walked his truth, and with every step he took through this adventure called life, he was his authentic self. I hope to do the same. I hope to leave my own footprints on this earth, with footprints in everyone's heart that I am blessed to know, footprints of love, courage, and compassion. Thank you, Jitendra, for being here on this earthly plane with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Kalyani.
Are you using the harmonium?
I think I'm going to talk first and
Shivaya, there we go. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I really didn't realize how much the dad theme was going to happen. But as we lost Blue Mountain a little while ago and we're here, we have another dad to honor. And just thank you guys for opening your home to us and sharing. I'm not going to make this without crying either. Sorry, you guys. That's still family-ish. And I know Jitendra's other family was all of you. His friends were just as important, just as dear. But my sharing is, you know, I'll offer my piece, my story. I met Jitendra at a kirtan in 1994 on the lawn at Harbin Hot Springs where I was living. At that time, Bhagavan Das was doing kirtan twice a week. And that was my very first exposure to, you know, Hinduism and spirituality. And I was fully in love with it. One day, Jitendra came walking down the hill, carrying his instrument to come to the kirtan. And I immediately thought, oh no, here comes another big shot musician who just wants attention. Everybody look at him. And we're at a kirtan. I'm closing my eyes. I shut my eyes. I did not look at him at all. I'm praying to God, excuse me. And he teased me later on. You didn't even look at me. So it's true. I didn't. But Bhagavan Das's girlfriend, I was buying an instrument from him and I was tagging along. You know, I really wasn't looking for a partner, But he had been alone for a little while after Prema, and he was very persistent. So then our families were joined. And we were married here in Haiku. Again, another kind of not coincidence, it's just very fitting. So very, very fitting. We were married. A lot of you were there at, at that wedding. So it's very fitting that we're here again, I think, in Haiku. And I don't think we can celebrate Jitendra without a good life and death story. But I don't think you heard this one. Jitendra had a business called Mahadeva in San Anselmo, California, selling statues and imports from Bali. And we lived 2 hours north of there in Middletown, just outside Harbin Hot Springs, while I was pregnant with Sangeeta. We did about 4 years on the mainland then. And he would work half the week in Mahadeva. Bindi actually with us, 4 nights out of into labor with Sangeeta, and the labor was fast. Jitendra barely had time to make the midwife some tea and toast before I told them it was time. And when Sangeeta was almost out, the midwife turned to Jitendra and said, Jitendra. So Jitendra delivered Sangeeta. He caught her. She just, it was not, she go catch your baby. Yeah. She's just like he would have said it to somebody. So after the placenta came, you're supposed to stop bleeding, but I didn't. I just kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And I got very tired. I just wanted to close my eyes and rest. But the midwife said, stay with us, keep your eyes open. And there, the hospitals were not super close by. And the midwife was not really keen on going to the hospital in the middle of the night. She was also 8 months pregnant herself. So she turned to Jitendra and said, pray for your wife. Jitendra went into the next room. He got some incense and a bell and came back ringing the bell, waving the incense. He was immediately shooed out by all of the midwives and it was just a little somehow it wasn't the right energy. So he went back into the next room by himself and he prayed, and he really prayed. A few minutes later, I stopped bleeding. So I want to thank Jitendra for praying for me so that I'm still here. And he wasn't a single dad. And I was very weak and I couldn't walk for many days, but I was still there. So I just want to really honor that prayer he gave, and thank God for listening to that prayer too. And I have something else to say. Some of us, have been walking the spiritual path for a while, and we think, maybe we're really spiritual and we maybe have a daily practice. Like me, we think, oh, I've, been doing good things, maybe done some good inner work. But then when life brings us something like this, death of a loved one, it's really shows us where we're really at. And great opportunity for me to see what's really been hiding in my heart, to see what needs to be released, what needs to be felt and shared. Jitendra would talk about his meditation teacher Gupta, who would use the word equanimous. Anybody remember the equanimous meditation? Okay, equanimity, So it's when you find yourself falling so short, it's good. It's a good wake up call. So this has brought some gifts. His passing has brought some gifts with it for sure. I feel I really treasure my connection with others, my family, and I have way more empathy for all of you who have lost a dear one, 100% more. And in spirituality, we also acknowledge our life is temporary. We don't know if we have the next breath. We could be at the top of the stairs saying to someone at the bottom, oh, I'll be right there, but we really don't know if that's true. So this awareness has really helped me reflect deeply on the preciousness of life and to develop more discernment as to, where I put my time, energy, and how to direct my thoughts, because we have an expiration date. So I'm grateful for this lesson, it's been really eye-opener. Do I let people know, people I love, do I let them know I love them? Am I being authentic? Am I being loving? So maybe we can all, reflect and share like this from past people passing. So thank you, that's all. And I just wanted to, of course, play a Jitendra bhajan, because we wouldn't be complete without a Jitendra bhajan. And of course, Daniel Paul has been there through everything almost with Jitendra. So I'm just grateful that you're here, and thank you. Okay, this one, Jitendra liked easy bhajans. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Pita Parvati, Mata Devi Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Just Jai Ganesha, praise Ganesh, praise Ganesh. Your mother's Parvati, your father's Mahadeva. Another father thing. And we don't have any backup singers on mics, so I could really use your vocal support. Thank you. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. O Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. O Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. O Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Oh, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha. Oh, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Oh, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Devi Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mahadeva, Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Vichama Amritangamaya Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Vichama Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Vichama Amritangamaya Coming from the heart. To actually arrive and be here now, I thank you. I didn't write anything. The words have been passing with the clouds. And is this really real? What is reality? Each breath is a reality. Precious. So Robbie and I were just in Bali, and it was there that I came across this wonderful big Ganesha with garlands of flowers and chanting in the background. So I took a photo and I texted it to Jitendra ji. You know, over the years, we stayed in touch, and we're still in touch. Oh, we mentioned about everything changing, all things passing. He always makes a little comment. I'm still here. 76 already, I'm such a kid inside. But I'm not ready to go yet. And he would always say, whenever I'm called, it is my time. And still coming to terms with that reality. Every moment, doesn't seem real. And so at the end of his text to me, this was maybe 10 days before he passed. He said, "Oh, you're in Bali. Well, my favorite temple
Goagaja, the elephant temple, Ganesha. Please, if you think to go there, this is his last text to me. Please go to Ganesha there and mention my name and offer a flower. And I believe when he was in Bali, he would go there and pray and chant. Goagaja is like this ancient temple. It's in a cave, and outside the cave, there's a picture on the altar there. It's carved and with just like a little entrance. And you go deep inside the entrance into this empty space with Ganesha and Shiva Lingam. And so we got on our little motorbikes. As soon as I heard, I first lit a candle, said a prayer next to the Ganesha on the altar where we were staying. And then the next morning, we get on our bikes, and Robbie went and bought all these flowers and offerings, and we put on our temple gear. And we went early in the morning before traffic. And we get to Goagaja, and it's really beautiful. We said many prayers, we chanted, we offered flowers, we cried. We said more prayers, we cried some more. And outside the cave are these spring water fed, ankle deep pools that are fed from these Davies holding water pots, and it's pouring in there. So after we cried and said our prayers, we went down, prayed some more, and we washed our faces in that water and took blessings from the temple there. When we traveled, Jitendra ji always had Ganesha. He would always offer flowers every morning. Where are my fingers? Namaha. 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 Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om 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 Ganapataye Long, long time ago, when I arrived overland in India, so long ago. I decided after going to the Golden Temple of Amritsar that I was going to head to Goa. I heard people could live on the beach in Goa. And, you know, I was clueless. Really what I would find or anything. And I was coming from the Krishna temple in France. So really I was very naive. Didn't really know where I was going exactly, but I was going to the beach. So I loved walking the beaches there. 1976. So I would walk, and I came upon this beautiful little beach, Vagator. And I used to walk around, we'd walk around with half a coconut shell with a little candle burning in there. That was our flashlight. So walking around, and then on the cliff, I like hear all this music and fire, and that was where I first met Jitendra. And shortly thereafter, we started our adventures. And the first bhajan that we sang together was Jaya Radha Madhava. It came with me in my heart to India. And of course, it's celebrated and sung everywhere there. Radha Madhava Vajakunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Vajakunja Bihari Vijana Bala Vajakiri Bharadhari Vijana Bala Giri Bharadhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Jivana Banachari Yamuna Jivana Banachari Yamuna Jivana Banachari Yamuna these mystical, magical peaks. We love to walk around. That's very specifically, we walked from Rishikesh up across the glaciers with the sadhus to Badrinath and to Hemkund Sahib and to Valley of Flowers, dipping into the Ganges every time our trail would come back down and then go back up, come back down, following the Ganges. And on that trail, this Baba taught us this beautiful chant, which is also sung all over India. Shri Krishna Govinda, Hari Murari, He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda, Hare Murari, He Nata Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda, Hare Murari, He Nata Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda, Nata Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda, Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda, Hare Murari, He Nata Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda, Nata Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Krishna Govinda, Nata Narayana, Yena Vasudeva. Yena Vasudeva. Always remember in your hearts. Space. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Sita. Thank you, John. Thank you, Leila. Thank you for bringing us all here together. Oh.
Jitendra has woven himself to the fabric of our beings. And there are so many of us who had so many incredible things that happened with Jitendra. And this is a celebration of life, there's not going to be enough time for all of us to come up and say something about Jitendra. But we have crafted this celebration of life in such a way that we are going to, after we take prasadam, have a little feast. We're going to come back and do more songs and more remembrances. So I invite you, if you want to do that, and we have a few moments here, and to do some more sharings. And I'm going to ask Daniel Paul to come up and say a few words about our beloved Jitendra, if you would like to. I'm going to ask everybody to be a brief, so because there's so many of us, but Daniel Paul.
Thank you. I've been talking to Jitendra about every month or so, and I know where he ended up there. I've been down there many times, and I really wanted to go. He kept begging me to go. Probably the worst decision I ever made not to make it. But we would always talk about all the ills. You know, now I can't hear. When he just said my name, I had no idea he was talking to me. And Jitendra would go, oh yeah, Prabhu, you know, yeah, my hip is out now. And I can't, I said, I can't come visit you because I know Lekatitlan and you must live up on the hillside. He said, no, you come. I live down on the flats. You don't have to go up and down. My knees are no good now. And his hip. So we, over the years, of course, we were so much closer way back in the early days. But over the years, we never left each other. And when I got here in 1985, I was taken in by a very kind man, Sebastian, sitting in the back. And if it wasn't for Sebastian and Tiana, one day we were at the swap meet, and sitting on a blanket was this character and little bronze statues that he was selling. I don't remember if there was any big ones at that time. And of course, Sebastian just took him right home with us. He's like, you're coming with us, dude. He was sitting there in his robes, and he had just gotten to Maui, and he was living out at McKenna, and he didn't really know anything for anything. And if you hadn't done that, I don't know if he'd be in any of our lives. Who knows? He could have moved on at that point. He was quite the gypsy. And he also brought to us that thing that most of us were looking for, something from India. We didn't know what it was. And here comes this guy, and he's like Shiva. And he knows everything there is. He's got all the stories. He's got all the kirtans. We're like, how did this guy get here? Who made this guy, you know? And then he's like, oh yeah, I was in India for 16 years and never put shoes on, threw my passport away. He knows. And such a beautiful time we all had back then. There was never a microphone. Whoever got to Cato's house first would start the kirtan. And you knew Jitendra was gonna go for a long time. And so you just took that in, right? And you waited and like Das was always so patient. Oh, hi, Bindi, I'm sorry. Love your girl. And he really made it happen for a lot of us because we didn't know. I'm not gonna curse. We didn't know anything about India. Really, I mean, we all spent time trying to study it and trying to imbibe it and get whatever it was that it had for us. But he had it all inside him. And he was right there. The faults and the greatness. It was all there. It was so much fun to be around. It was so much fun to be around. How many gatherings did he go to? I mean, I went to a small fraction and it was a huge amount for me. And I lived on and off with him and his big brood. And I was the only guy besides him. And you were all blonde. Well, I'm so glad you're not blonde anymore. Anyway, God bless him because he gave us so much. And it was hard to comprehend because it came with all this amazing difference that we never grew up with. But there he was doing his thing. Just crazy, huh? I don't know if I could tell a million stories. The best one is living at Little Beach, and remember how the tide would come in and the water would be up to here and you'd have to wade through. I think we carried you in once and we would put our instruments over our heads to get from Big Beach to Little Beach through the water.
And sometimes it was really dark.
Yeah, and it would be, after a night of crazy, whatever you call that. Anyway, he gave me so much, and I'm so grateful. I cannot say to be with Bindi and Vala and Gita and Yasho and Prema. God bless Prema, who I talked to last week, who's in an ashram in northern Pennsylvania, without a phone and without email. Yeah, through Felicia, that's how we get in touch with Prema. Yeah. And of course, Kalyani, where is she? Anyway, I thank all the ladies in his family for taking care of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm going to say something. Come on.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Ike Duru. And I met him at the lowest time in my life on Maui. I just have suffered multiple arrays of health issues. And, I didn't tell anyone because of my pride. So, but somehow he recognized that he can tell I was laboring, I was struggling, and he reached out. And every day we met at the same place. The cove at the bordering. There's a rock, the last rock overseeing the whole ocean. That's where he wants to go and sit there and smoke the best ganja. Do I get a man for that? The best ganja ever. I just confirmed I just confirmed this is with this daughter. Did he grow that ganja himself? I said, yeah, he had a garden around behind the house, and he grew ganja himself. I couldn't smoke because the doctors said, don't even smoke, because my health was so bad. He puffed, and I got high swimming in a cove. For real. So every day for months, we did the same thing. He would smoke and I'll get high, and my pains would go away. I go home and sleep. I said, who is that angel? So eventually, Kelly and the daughter was that. Yeah, I had to ask, where is she? And I didn't know she was a baby. I said, wow, there she is. And you remember me because you were there. I was there with them every day, and he helped me heal. I have recovered tremendously. I'm back at work. I wish he was there for me to tell him how much he helped me recover. And he was a truly Renaissance man. If ever was a Renaissance man, he was. He traveled the world. I too, we have so much in common. I too left my home at a teenager, and I traveled the world. He'd been to my part of the world. He'd been to Afghanistan. He's been to India. We traveled the world without even knowing each other. And we ran off at the cove of all places for years. I at the cove every day, and I miss him. I miss him so well. We have a love for English poetry, old Mercedes-Benz cars. You had a white Mercedes-Benz car, and everybody knows car. It was the only big Mercedes-Benz at Baldwin. Yeah. So we talked about his car. I told him I had the same car back 2 oceans away. I said, you do? I said, I do. When I go there and I drive it. So we talked about everything. He was a really fun guy to be around, and he was unpretentious. You know him. You know, he was a sort of earth guy. I really miss him. The boarding cove is not the same without him. And Galani, thank you. And all the daughters, thank you. And Bindi somewhere, when Bindi was come to visit, he brought Bindi to meet me. I will spend the whole day with them at the cove. It means a lot to me.
Here's Bindi.
So thank you, Bindi. So I just want to express my sincere gratitude. This man just raised me like Lazarus. I was Lazarus. He was whatever guru he is. I couldn't tell his name, but he was the one that gave me the hand and raised me up from my darkest moments. For that, I am sincerely grateful. Thank you all for coming here to honor him. And I just want to share this story with you guys. Maui is full of people like him, and that is why we thrive here. This place has given me a new lease on life, and I will serve the rest of my life serving people here in my own capacity. Mahalo, mahalo. Ahiho.
Thank you. Jitendra Baba Ki. Go ahead. It's okay.
Oh, so nice to be here. I met Jitendra when he first got to the island, and I think I met him at the Tiana and Sebastian's kirtan, where we all loved to chant with him, and it was such a blessing. And I was so inspired by him that I bought one of his instruments. It was a harp, and I strummed on that harp for all my children. And it was made out of monkey pod. So I was really grateful for his talents with making instruments. And it just brought so much joy to me, strumming my harp for my children and going to the kirtans, with him. And he could go all night, like you said, and especially Shivaratri. And I love that so much. And then also, I want to say a special prayer for Eric, my partner, who I met here of all places on New Year's. And it would make 13 years, but he passed 2 weeks ago on Tuesday. Went to Bali of all places. And I had nursed him for nearly 2 years with pancreatic cancer. And that's unheard of to go that long with pancreatic cancer. And I just want to say a prayer for him as well, because he had such a will to live, but he went to the Panchakarma retreat and within a week he passed there. So please say a prayer for Eric as well. I set up a little altar out on the pagoda just adjacent to the stairs with mangoes from his orchard. And the mangoes are a gift from him for you all to enjoy. And just say a prayer, please, for Eric, who's with us here in my heart. Blessings to all of you and all your loved ones. Thank you.
Aloha kako. Hi, Bindi, I love you. My name is, to this community would know me as Fawn. I'm Darren and Daniel's daughter, and 3 days before my uncle passed away, Jitendra, I walked their property, his property, actually, because I had someone who was privately interested in potentially buying his property. And so I made offerings to Ganesh and found one of his old instruments and brought up all these memories of being a keiki within the realms of what you guys are all sharing. And I just wanted to share it from that perspective. So Jitendra was my dad's best friend and his teacher. And he actually was the reason that my dad started making instruments and became involved in that. And as a little kid, I look around and so many of you were super instrumental in my upbringing, and we were raised in this sacred, magical, very unique community of getting to play in a safe way all night long at Shivaratri, drinking chai. And I mean, I remember at Uncle Seb's house and Tiana's house, Tarka's house, we would be on the trampoline outside while everybody's partying inside. And one of the most special memories I have is coming and bringing my dad and Jitendra black tea while they were smoking their tobacco and making instruments all day long. And they would just sit there in Ulupalakua, where we spent a lot of time, and make beautiful instruments and talk story. And it was like being a little gopi child, like listening to your elders tell you these stories of Krishna and Radha and Vrindavan. And it was just really magical. And I just feel so honored to have been raised in this community. And I kind of feel like this is an end of an era with him, like passing over. And I just, for whatever reason, to walk the Aina and to be able to say those prayers 3 days before he passed, I feel really honored. I wasn't able to be at my father or my mother's memorial. And so this is really special for me. And Jitendra was best friends to my mother and my father, as well as many of you in this room. I just feel really, really grateful for the legacy that he continues to perpetuate in this community as a representation of that Maui family that, you know, has shifted so much, but I see still present in this room. And I really give thanks for this opportunity for us to come together. And I know that the angels are assisting in this passing over, and you know, what a auspicious way to be relieved from this earth plane, to return to the wellspring of life, you know, to the waters. And thank you all for sharing your stories and for being pillars of that spiritual fortitude that is so deeply needed in this time, coming together and putting aside all of the pilikia to really bring this higher love that I feel like Jitendra embodied in so many ways, as a teacher, as a father, as a friend, and always as a beloved in my heart, as an uncle. Thank you.
Let's all take a breath. So I first met Jitendra when he first came to Maui. Jitendra, Yasho, Daniel Paul, and Serena showed up at my house in Makawao, the Bonzi house where I have my crystal temple there. And it was like, oh, who is this guy? And I've known him, I was thinking about it, more than half of my life. And we've chanted in Maui, in Bali, in Oregon, in Shasta, gatherings here, gatherings there, many Shiva Ratris all night, all these wonderful places. Jitendra was a man who really walked his talk. He was authentic, really authentic. He really was. And he was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, and we chanted, we played, we prayed. It was all really, really good. And he was a great storyteller. And so I'm going to tell a quick little story because it's one of my favorite ones. And I think it's a little appropriate. So there's a great sadhu up in the mountains, and he's got his disciple. And he says to the disciple, a glass of pani, glass of water. So he has to walk way down the mountain to the river. And across the river is a beautiful woman. And of course, they make eyes. And the next thing you know, he forgets about the sadhu. And he's with this woman, and they have a family in this village, and all these things happen. I'm taking a short version of the long story. And so then this flood comes and washes, and he's trying to hold on to his children and his wife, and one by one, they're taken away. And he's going down the river all by himself, and all of a sudden this hand grabs him, pulls him out. And it's the sadhu, and he looks at him and he says, "What took you so long?" And so I can just imagine Jitendra right now, Lord Shiva, picking him up. What took you so long? So I have a little present for later. Somehow I got this clip, a 3.5-minute clip. This man met Jitendra and filmed him telling stories. And it was a seed in the clip. He says, we're going to make a film. Well, he made this clip over 2 years ago. And I'm like, well, who is this guy? So I saw his name, and I did some research. I found the guy. And he knew Jitendra passed, and I let him know we're doing a gathering. And I said, if at all you can pull something together. And so a few days later, he sent me something. So after dinner, when we come back up, it'll be more darker. And it's actually a 22-minute clip with 2 stories, but we're just going to show the second story, which is him telling a beautiful story of a poor woman who passed away, and the whole story of what goes on. I thought it'd be appropriate. So enjoy. And
Jitendra lives in all of our hearts. Yeah. Om Namah Shivaya.
Bodhi, would you like to come and say something? Is Tiana here?
I didn't even recognize the best.
Well, what to say? So many of us have been here, 30, 40, 50 years now. How many of us now have grown up together, watched each other grow up? How many of us came here in our 20s and so unusual to live in one place for so long and actually grow up with your people. And of course, sooner or later, we're going to watch each other die, which is what we're starting to do now. We're seeing our people are starting to die. And of course, it brings our own mortality into view. And God, Jitendra he leaves a big hole. I mean, when Fawn gets up and talks, I mean, we know, so many of us know Fawn since she was like that big, right? And we knew Kalyani before there were any, only when there was Vala, and on and on and on. And that's the nature of family. That's all I really wanted to say. That's what we do now. And many of you I don't ever see, and maybe now I see you at memorials. And when we show up for the people, as we start to say goodbye to our people, that's what we do. And that's why it's so precious, because I never know when the last time is going to be when I see each of you. And so I want to make every single encounter with every one of you the most important encounter in that moment, because I don't want to be left with, I wish I didn't, or should have, or could have. And, I want you to know how I feel about you. So when I see you, I'm going to tell you. So nothing's left unsaid. And I wish that for all of you. And God, Jitendra, what a beautiful being. And again, he leaves a big hole, and just like Blue Mountain leaves a big hole in this community circle. And somehow we need to step up and fill the circle, right? Love.
China?
Traveling on so many musical gatherings, rainbow gatherings, climbing mountains, sitting by the river, doing our artwork, telling stories, mistakenly drinking too much magic tea. And
That introduced us.
one of my favorite sayings is that when a soul is born, the soul cries, but everybody else rejoices. But when a soul passes, the soul rejoices, but everybody else, you cry. This is the circle of life as it should be. This is not a bhajan. This is a song that Jitendra loved to sing, a Hawaiian song. I remember days when we were younger. Used to be Bojillo in the mountain stream. In the Colorado hills, we'd ride our horse. Seems so long ago, it was just a dream. Last night I dreamt I was returned. And my heart called out to you. Will you accept me as you find me? Meke aloha po meho kahalu. Jitendra, for being my friend. What you've done for all of us. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. You accept me as you find me. Meke aloha po mehoa. Used to sing by John's own McGinnis, telling so many stories around the chai hut. Seems so long ago, like a dream. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. Wish you accept me as Ike aloha po'ome o akahalu. Ike aloha po'ome o akahalu. Ike aloha po'ome o akahalu. I love each and every one of you. Thank you.
Just feels like she's looking, watching. Right.
Aloha. Aloha, Wind Cloud. I came to know Jitendra when I came to know Daniel Paul. And so many Sky, so many Bodhi, so many in this room that began with. And
when Solomon was Merlin. And then Astara became Alalani, and all of our beautiful dances, right, Kata? Love that wind, that breath, that sacred breath, Blue Mountain, the Ohana, the Jitendra. So I was seeing this man, his name was Vernon, and we were having such a sacred dance, and it was so wonderful. And I was living in my place of 30 years, and he was living in his apartment. And his father passed. And then one day I was given a card, and in the card, it said, to me, that he couldn't use the money where he was. And that was his father. But Vernon made it like it was from his father. And it was 12 $100 bills. And he said, I can't use it up here. A girl can always use some cash. So he gave that to me. Well, I made a sacred file. Didn't know what it was going to be. And Vernon would come in a week, or he'd ask in a month, and he'd say, well, did you spend it? I said, no. Did you use it towards your rent? No. Did you use it towards a bill? No. You must have bought food. No. So why are you waiting? Why are you waiting? I said, because it's going to be a sacred purchase. And I don't know what that is. But when I know, I will know. And it will be exactly $1,200. So I ran into Jitendra. And I said, Jitendra, I have this vision. I want you to make something. He said, come up to the land. So I came up to the land, and it was magical. And getting in the truck with his dog and just going through it. Planned the table that would bring his father's energy as we shared food, and that he would live in the heart of a house that wasn't there yet. I said, I have total faith. And Vernon says, so you're having a table made for our life together, though we're not living together. And I go, exactly. Exactly. Co-creating, manifesting, believing, faith, hoping, dreaming, praying, consciousness. So I came and picked out some beautiful bookmark maple and koa, beautiful piece of koa, all that came down naturally. That's all he worked on. He picked these eucalyptus legs and a female table. So between her legs was the yoni right there. And then koa wood feet. So he worked on that. He created that times to the workshop. And it was beautiful. And it came time for delivery day. And it came to Kihei. Didn't fit between the doors because it was so grand now. It was made in one piece. But they figured it out over many hours how to get it in the house. Well, it didn't set right. And so I reached out to Jitendra and I said, Jitendra, it didn't quite set right. He goes, I'll come to Kihei. And I was like, that's big, go out of the forest and come to Kihei. Well, he began to work on the table in the garden. And I learned so many stories. When he sat with you and he shared India, or he shared these stories and his journeys, his adventures, and you never wanted it to end. Just like the sitars, just like the bhajans, you never wanted it to end. And I saw the table, it was perfect. And I'd go, beautiful, I'm so glad you came. And he goes, well, I'll be back tomorrow. Okay. Come back the next day, and I thought it was done. And he'd sand off all of it that was shiny and perfect, sand it down. He must have done that 23 times at least, sanded it all down, made it perfect, and then sanded that in the layers of consciousness, the layers of his love. And we joke. I'd say, don't sand that yoni too much. Don't rub that too much. You might rub it away. Made him some beautiful Indian food. We shared beautiful times. He would smoke and then he would make the table. Smoke and then make the table. At the end of that, we had a beautiful Ganesha. It was right next to the Ganesha that Blue Mountain chose. And we gave that one to him. And I gave him $1,200. Exactly $1,200. So that lives. His dad is gone. My beloved Vernon is gone. Jitendra is gone. Blue Mountain's gone, but they're not. And they live on in all of us. And I charge the waters today in this bowl on that table. The 4 waters of Maui, the 4 sacred waters gone into the river mouths and streams of those waters. Navaiola, Wailuku Ia, Waikapu, Waihe, and Waihu. When I stood under the Nui Nui rainbow and the rainbow mist flowed into the bowl. Every moon, now that we're in the La'ala Pa'ao moons, these are the healing moons for us to come together. They're all in here, from Hilo to Mahealani. There's some flowers here. I wanted to open it to the family and anyone else that would like to touch this and the charge of energies from what is the heart of my home, which is Jitendra's table. Blessings to all of you and blessings to the food today. Mahalo.
Okay, done.
This song is attributed to Jitendra. In this life that we're after, there is joy and there is laughter. There's you and me and all of us together now.
Not the best video.
In that love that we are seeking, there's no lies and there's no cheating, and there's you and me and all of us together now. Let's talk about love. La 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 la, all together now, love. La 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 la, all together now, love. La 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 la.
No.
Freedom flies on gilded wings. High flying birds begin to sing. High flying birds begin to sing. On gilded wings. Full moon rising in the sky, and I watch it and I wonder why. Full moon rising in the sky. Let us talk about love. La 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 la, all together now, love. La 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 la. Love. La 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 la, all together now, love. La 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 la. We shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. In this life that we are after, there is joy and there is laughter, and there is you and me and all of us together now. There's love that I am seeking. There's no lying, there's no cheating, and there's you and me and all of us together now. Let us open up to love. La 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 la. All together now, love. La 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 la. Love. La 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 la. We shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Jitendra Baba Ki Jai. We're going to finish this part of the ceremony. Nico? Oh, Nico? Okay.
I'm here. I'm on. Am I on live? Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, Jitendra would be so grateful to have all you guys coming together like this. And, yeah, I'm just so thankful, just feel so blessed to have had him in my life. And
Request Nico to turn a light on so we can see your pretty face. Babu. Yeah.
You want to come in? Hey, all my friends. It's so good to see you. And yes, I'm feeling you guys. And here's Medine. We were just talking about, it was always so much better having Jitendra around in our lives. And even though I feel like I've merged with him on some level from all the years and experience, just such a magical ride we had together. And yeah, I guess it's our loss that he's not here anymore, but I know he's good. And yeah, I just want to honor him and continue to love him. And, he loved you all so much. And yeah, I guess my words can't even express all that I'm feeling. And yeah, he was just such a spiritual godfather to me, such a dear friend. And yeah, I guess I'm kind of speechless. But yeah, our story goes way back. And I feel like, yeah, it's come to an end in this life, but it will continue on in the next lives. And that soul connection we had was really special. And he's forever. It's just such a dear, just one of my closest friends in this life, I'm sure. Yeah, anyways, just, yeah. you want to say?
Just, yeah, he was just such a beloved member of our soul family. He just always felt like family, Jitendra. And Jitendra's family, beautiful Kalyani and Gita and even Vala. You know, when I first met Nico, gosh, 17 years ago, you know, I just soon realized that Jitendra was just going to be part of the mix. They just came together. And Jitendra's beautiful family and
Bindi.
And Bindi, you know, I think Bindi had grown and flown at that point. So I didn't have as much connection with dear Bindi, but yeah, you know, Jitendra, he was never far. You know, he was never far. We, you know, even when we were living here on the mainland, coming to Maui every winter, you know, we were there, he was there. He'd cycle back through on the mainland and just sharing so many sweet, special, sacred times and moments. And we were reminiscing today and, you know, just in anticipation of this beautiful celebration of life and just remembering just the beautiful spirit and the beautiful essence and the heart that he brought. You know, just the presence, you know, of that just divine strength.
Yeah, there was nobody like Jitendra. And he enriched all our lives so much. And yeah, just what a ride. It's just like, wow, what a ride. And I stayed in close contact with him up until the very end. And I was so trying to get to Guatemala. And, you know, we talked this winter a little bit about Blue Mountain. Just, you know, he kind of dropped a little, it's almost like a subconscious hint where he was like, wow, Nico, people are really checking out. And this, you know, and he's like, what if, wow, I hope we don't get caught in this wave right now. And so I know he wasn't ready to go. He was thriving. You know, yeah, I begged him last summer to come up and do one more last music tour and offered him to come and just, but you know, he was getting a little older and I know when he was in the airport, he was feeling really, a lot of times he was just starting to feel really spaced, like at moments. I don't know if it was all that Charis getting to him finally. But yeah, it was just, the time was right. And so yeah, on we go. But anyways, yeah, he had a lot of love and he was a magical man. And yeah, I'm forever grateful and forever blessed, you know, to have had him in my life the way he was. And just the doors he opened for me in my life and the people he connected with me. So many people I probably, without Jitendra, I probably would have never met all this Maui family. He opened the door to everything for me in so many ways. And I know I enriched his life as well. We had a special bond and way our energies mixed together. It was precious. And yeah, so yeah, I love all you guys and you all are so precious to me, the whole Maui family. So, so precious. And every moment is so precious. And yeah, I love you all so much. And honor Jitendra. Thank you so much. Much love. Namaste, Jai Ma.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, like that.
We truly know that our beloved Jitendra
was our Shiva Baba and our Ganesh Baba. And he would lead all of our Shiva Ratris so graciously and perform fire ceremony. So for this part of our celebration of life, I'm going to chant Shiva mantra or Remembrances. And I would ask you, I'm going to chant it 11 times. And I'd ask you to please rise on up. Rise on up. You all start with
Namah Shivaya.
Nice to see who's there.
This mantra means we worship the three-eyed one who's fragrant, who sustains all living beings. May he liberate us from samsara or death. May he lead us to immortality, just as the cucumber is released from its bondage. Let me explain the cucumber part. The translation is like a cucumber off of the vine, off the creeper, like how it becomes ripe and then falls off. And also, this mantra is considered to evoke the Shiva within human beings and removes the fear of death, liberating one from samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. Hence the name, the great death conquering mantra. People also traditionally do this on their birthdays because, well, in India, because that helps us remember we have an expiration date also, and we are not afraid, and we're eternal spirit beings. Namah Shivaya. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukami babandhanam mrityormukshriyamamritam. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukami babandhanam mrityormukshriyamamritam. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukami babandhanam mrityormukshriyamamritam. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukami babandhanam Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukami babandhanam mrityormukshriyamamritam. Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhi Pushti Vardhanam Purvadagami Vardhanam
Probably on the screen.
Oh,
Oh, you're not.
Sugandhi Pushti Vardhanam Purvadagami Vardhanam Mrityormam Shriyavam Trayambakam Yajamati Sugandhi Pushti Vardhanam Purvadagami Vardhanam Mrityormam Shriyavam Trayambakam Yajamati Sugandhi Pushti Vardhanam Purvadagami Vardhanam Mrityormam Shriyavam Trayambakam Yajamati Sugandhi Pushti Vardhanam Purvadagami Vardhanam Mrityormam Shriyavam Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sri
Jitendra Baba ki
Jai.
Jitendra Baba ki
Jai.
Jitendra Baba ki
Jai.
Long live Jitendra.
Thank you. And
Will be, now, that's completed the first part of our celebration here tonight. And now we're going to go and enjoy and feast in his name. And then after some time, we will return here into the temple room, and there'll be more opportunities for people to share their pastimes of Jitendra Baba. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody, for all of your blessings. Aloha.
Reminder, the word from the family is if during the dinner time, we could share stories of Jitendra rather than going into chit chat and our normal selves. Let's share with each other our stories so everyone gets a chance to share. So hold that Jitendra vibe through the dinner. And then we'll come back here at about 7 o'clock for more music and bhajans, probably in a large circle here.
Okay, Namah Shivaya, one more thing, two more things. At the front of the room, there's a book. So you can write any stories, any memories, anything you didn't get to say. Please write it in there. And there are some baby koa trees underneath the table. And I would love to see at least 108 koa trees planted in remembrance of Jitendra. He did have a business called Eco Maui Koa, and he did, when we started it, we did want to plant one, at least one for every tree that was used, and tried to use, only felled trees. But anyway, so he has a special relationship with koa. So if there's only 11 koa saplings there, but there's my email. So tell me if you can plant one at your place. Let me know, because I'm sprouting about 100 more. Okay, thank you. Have a great dinner.
One more thing, if we could have silence back there, can we get everyone from the belt side to be quiet a moment? You guys in the back, quiet back there for one moment, because I want to share one more thing that's important to say, that Jitendra's house was in foreclosure and was ready to be sold on the courthouse steps in a couple of weeks. And thanks to our attorney friend Les and others, they've managed to get it off of foreclosure, and they have some time in which to sell it, and that's his legacy to share with his family. So in order to do that, it's going to take some money. It's going to take around $5,000 to hire a special probate attorney and do all the things it takes to do the probate. So we're asking someone in this family has $5,000 in their pocket that they could loan for the estate. They'd be secured by the house, and you get paid off when the house sells, so they can open probate. And there's also going to need to be some money in order to fix the house up so they can get a decent price for it. So that's maybe about 10 grand. So first 5 grand, another 10 grand. So if anybody is in a position to help in that way, come see me or see Les. Les, where are you? Les, right there. Talk to either one of us, and we'll see if we can save the house legacy so that there's some money to share with the family and everybody. And also downstairs there is, and if they don't lose the house in Guatemala too, it'll all go unless we sell this. And so also there is a lot of chai down there. There's enough cup, even when everybody 4 cups of chai. So stick around. I think at the end we might do a circle here and share songs in a circle if that's what everybody likes. And then we'll go on in the evening doing heart songs, and everyone has a chance to share their story as well in a more intimate circle at the end. So thank you all so much for coming.